All right, I think we're good. Take us away, Mike.
What's going on, guys? This is our first ever Night Report live podcast. Joining us, as usual, we have Richie Schnyderite, publisher of thenighreport.com, and Chris Nalwasky, beat reporter for thenighreport.com. Guys, probably one of the craziest out of left field news stories to ever happen to Rutgers happened yesterday. Texas A&M dropping out of the Gator Bowl at around 1:30, and by 1:45, we already have national reporters talking about how Rutgers is the first option for this. Man, I didn't expect to go bowling this year, and definitely not in Florida. This is pretty awesome.
I mean, I'm a little shocked. I keep looking up all kinds of crazy stats and stuff, and it's insane. Like I told you guys before we started this, I did not expect anything like this, and then all of a sudden, a couple buddies of mine texted me, and they're like, "Oh, Rutgers dodging an ACC team." I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about?" I'm looking, and I'm like, "Oh my God, they might play Wake Forest in the Gator Bowl. What the hell?" And it sounded like they denied it, and now they approved it. I don't know who to believe anymore. I'm gonna say McMurphy's a liar, and we're gonna go from there.
Yeah, it's honestly a pretty wild turnaround. I mean, a month ago you were playing to go to Detroit, and now all of a sudden, a month later, 5-7, you're playing on New Year's Eve against a really good Wake Forest team down in Florida, down in Jacksonville. It's pretty strange, I guess. You know, that's still living in COVID times, I guess. You know, that obviously played a big factor, or the main factor, I guess. But yeah, it's pretty wild. You know, we all thought the Rutgers season was done a month ago. After all the scenarios and everything that didn't, go Rutgers' way back then. But yeah, it's pretty wild. And I guess the game starts in 8 days or so. So
yeah, I like all the conspiracy of the long con by Schiano, because he had said some things like, we're going to keep prepared. We got finals in 2 weeks, but these guys still can work out there to like make Maryland go to a shitty bowl out in like Detroit on Christmas, and then we get to go to Florida on the game that will lead into the CFP on ESPN, which is pretty awesome. I want to talk timeline of all this happening. Like we already kind of discussed, Texas A&M dropped out around 1:30 yesterday. Brent McMurphy saying we had declined the Gator Bowl invite at like 1:45, which is a pretty quick turnaround for that. But then Pete Thamel, who's a little bit more credible, is saying that it's now looking like Rutgers will accept it around 4:45 yesterday. And then Cratch and Sarge came out with that article at like 8:30 last night, saying that it was all but finalized that Rutgers would be in the Gator Bowl. Is that right? Is that about where we're at right now? Like Rutgers is all but signed the dotted line to be in the Gator Bowl?
I mean, I guess. I don't know if I believe McMurphy anymore. I mean, he just kind of tweeted. It sounds like the NCAA Oversight Committee is going to go with that 5-7 team with the APR rankings, and Rutgers is the top 5-7 team right now in terms of those rankings. But I don't really know. Like, I have no idea. Until anything's announced officially, I don't think you could believe anybody, especially the guy who just basically lied yesterday. So, I mean...
Yeah, he's doubling down a little bit this morning, saying how it's, there's still hurdles to be climbed, which I think from, what we kind of talked about, that is true. It's not like everything is not lined up perfectly yet.
Mm-hmm. Where did Murphy graduate from? Because we got to figure this out. It's got to be like a rival Rutgers school.
I'll look it up now.
It's got to be like a Syracuse or like maybe a Pitt, something like that.
The Jacksonville Jaguars owner is the Illinois grad. I know Illinois was being talked about playing the game instead.
I saw he was pushing for it quite a bit. It makes a lot of sense from his point of view. It's like, it's my stadium, it's my team.
Yeah.
Put my alma mater.
Right. I mean, it's pretty wild. I mean, there is supposedly a meeting today, but like you said, by the NCAA Oversight Committee. But yeah, Rutgers is the top 5-7 based on the APR scores. They weren't released to the public, but to my knowledge, that Rutgers is number one in that regard, which is obviously great overall and great if you're a 5-7 team. So, but yeah, nothing's, I guess, officially official right now, but it seems like it's
so. When Wake Forest plays this game, I just realized, and I just looked real quick, they'll have more wins in a single season than Jacksonville has in the past 3.
Wow,
that's rough.
That's pretty wild.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Wake Forest has really turned it around in the past couple of years.
Yeah, I can't believe Wake Forest has 11 wins. That's the thing that shows.
I think they're 10-3.
The fact that Wake Forest is in double digits in the first place shocked the hell out of me.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Pitt and Wake Forest this year were just insane in the ACC.
Yeah.
And Wake started 8-0, so they've kind of had a little bit of their toughest part of the schedule was in the second half of the season, but they went 2-3 over the last 5. I did want to talk about them before we take any questions. Like, they are a very, very good team, especially on offense. Like, somebody had mentioned in the Twitter space last night. I don't know if anybody joined the Scarlet Spotlight Twitter space, but that was awesome. Thanks for putting that on, guys. And maybe we should do that ourselves sometime soon. But they had mentioned a game against Army. It was like a 70-56 final score.
How the hell did you give up 56 to Army? Sorry.
Yeah.
So Wake Forest scored 70 points. You want to guess their time of possession in that game?
I don't. Do I want to know?
Like
17 minutes.
Yeah.
17 minutes. They scored 70 points in 17 minutes. Army held the ball for 42.5 minutes in that game. So this might be the second best offense we faced all year outside of Ohio State. Like, they have a fantastic quarterback in Sam Hartman, who's the number 12 rated quarterback on PFF. They have two very good receivers in A.T. Perry and Jaquari Roberson, I think his name is. They're both top 60 receivers on PFF. They were both first team all ACC on different sites. One, I think PFF had one as first team, and the ACC coaches had one as first team. But the first or second team, all ACC. We've got a stud left tackle. They've got a really good safety. They've got a really good interior lineman. This is a team that has a lot of talent. They're experienced. And we don't honestly know who's going to be there for Rutgers right now. We don't know if all the guys who played this season are going to be allowed or are actually going to want to play. We kind of talked about this offline. Are you guys hearing anybody on the team that won't play right now, hypothetically?
I mean, not technically, no. No one said no, I guess, but we've only seen positive tweets from the players. I know some guys are still probably dinged up. Cruikshank obviously is still out. I heard Monangai was a little dinged up at the end of the season, and that's obviously in question. I don't think he'll play. So there's so many question marks about this team right now heading into this game. All the NFL draft guys that declared have to get a waiver. Keontae Hamilton, maybe your starting / backup defensive tackle, is currently with the wrestling team. It seems like a lot of the guys went home, so it's I don't know this for a fact, but if you look, like, most of the guys like that are in Florida already, or from Florida, are already in Florida. Is the starting quarterback in New Jersey or in Nebraska?
It's
question.
It's a really good question. I mean, I meant to talk about this before, and I'm glad you mentioned that, but there was a lot of positive tweets regarding, my bags are packed, I'm ready to go. But it's very interesting. You don't know who's going to play. I mean, like I said, as we're recording this, it's the last day of finals. You got Christmas coming up. Guys are going home or already home. It's going to be hard to get, I guess, like you said, the full team, the full band, I guess, back together and have like a couple practices, maybe in Florida. I mean, I'm sure you want to travel down there first. You have, the testing you'll have to do. So there's a lot of question marks and logistics. You got to, hoops to jump through. It's very intriguing, this whole ordeal. So, I'm not sure who's going to play. And then, Mike, like you said, Wake Forest is very good. Going back to them, QB1, Sam Hartman from the Netflix show. I was, going back to watching that show. I was very surprised that he chose Wake Forest. Wake Forest, wasn't good at that point. So you see this kid, on this TV show, very good quarterback. And then, but I mean, he rebuilt his high school that he transferred to, and now he's rebuilding Wake Forest into, top 25 team. They're 5th in scoring, 41 points a game, 11th in total offense. So it's a very dangerous team. And you don't know who's going to be available for Rutgers, offense, defense, special teams. I mean, who knows? Adam Korsak, might be in Australia right now. So.
I thought about that too. I'm like, you might not have your best weapon.
Yeah, that would be brutal. I'd imagine that they would really fight like hell to get him back in time for that, because I don't know what international restrictions are in terms of traveling right now due to COVID.
Australia, not to get into this, but Australia is probably the biggest lockdown country in the world, I think, right? So that's going to be extremely hard to get him back if he left, that is.
Yeah, I see a lot of people talking about how bad the Wake Forest defense is, and they did allow a lot of points and a lot of yardage this season. They were 98th in total defense in terms of yardage. They were 94th in scoring defense. Like, this is a team that can have the ball moved on them, but I mean, we were running this really bad offense this year. And what do you guys expect us? Do you think we're going to go out there and be able to score, 35. Like, we're going to need to score at least 30 points to beat these guys. Like, at what point did we score 30 outside of the Delaware game this year? Or we scored 60 against Temple, but we got what,
count.
2 special teams touchdowns in that?
That doesn't count. That was Rod Carey. That shouldn't count at all. But
yeah, it's so many turnovers and good field position in that game.
yeah, the more and more I think about it, and I hate people are going to hate me for this comparison, but Rutgers is similar to Boston College, but Boston College has a better quarterback. And Boston College lost to them 41-0 or 41-10, like a month ago maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I could see the score being similar to that. Like Rutgers hasn't been there. Their defense isn't. They don't even have a coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess Bob Frazier could technically run the show, and I'd expect him to run the show over Schiano because Schiano's been more hands off since his return. And Bob's done it before. Bob's actually ran one of the best defenses in Rutgers history in 2011. So, I mean, honestly, it could be a little audition for him.
Good point.
Yeah, so I'm going to run through Rutgers scoring in Power 5 games this year on offense. 17 points, 13, 13, 13, 7, 20, 3, 38 against Indiana, 0, 16.
Yeah.
So we've got one game in the Power 5 where they scored more than 20 points.
Yeah. Yeah, and I go back to the Maryland game. We thought Maryland, came into that game.
Their defense was terrible.
Not having a good defense, right? And Rutgers, they couldn't do anything. And obviously, I think it was like 40-16 in the last game. So, it could honestly be something like this, maybe worse. Rutgers doesn't have the team possibly that they had. So, yeah. So I mean, I don't see Rutgers being able to do much. I mean, it'll be good to get them to a bowl game, but I don't see them really being like competitive, I guess.
And Dave Clawson's a good coach. He's been there now. I think this is his 8th or 9th year at Wake Forest. Like he's had a string of like 4 of the last 5 seasons. 5 of the last 6 seasons. He's had a winning team at Wake Forest, which, I mean, if you look at who coached before him, like they had like that one good year where they went to the Orange Bowl, but they've been one of the worst programs in the Power 5 over the last 25 years. So what he's doing is sort of like what Schiano did his first go around, where he took a team that was always in the basement of the ACC and made them a good to slightly great team. So
yeah, I mean,
this is a team that's going to be prepared.
I'm glad you brought it up, Chris, the Maryland game, because if you look at the stats, Maryland's number 5 ranked offense, Maryland's number 76 ranked offense, Wake Forest number 5, and Maryland has a worse defense than Wake Forest. So it's like,
right,
that's a pretty good example actually right there. I just don't see them winning this game at all.
Yeah.
Obviously,
we don't even know if
there hasn't been a spread that got released because this game has not been official yet. But I'd imagine when it does get released, we're going to see probably at least a 17-point spread in this one.
And if you're
I would say at
dude,
least 2 touchdowns. Yeah.
Oh yeah. If you're a gambling man, you slam that over though. I don't care what it is. As long as it's under 60, you hit that over. So
I think we've kind of gone through. We don't like their chances. Let's lay out a scenario where they do win, right?
Gavin Wimsatt, second quarter, comes in, throws 3 darts.
All the tricks that they've had stored up over the last year, all the stuff they've thought about since the offseason, all the hype that these guys are going to feel from their first bowl game. Maybe they have some really advantageous turnovers they get. Like, they got to keep the scoring down in this game in order to have a chance.
Yeah. I can honestly see kind of like a I mean, it's a no lose situation, in my opinion, for Rutgers. I mean, they're coming into this with like no prep, I guess. But yeah, like you mentioned, I think you might see a Wimsatt if he's available, if he's around. I'm sure he will play, and he'll still be able to get that red shirt. But I see Rutgers trying to run the ball. Maybe see Giant Langan run the ball a lot of his package. So I mean, yeah, I mean that's one plus right there. And like I said, with the turnovers, they gotta get some turnovers. Maybe Adam Corsack comes over across the sea and kicks some punts down to the 1 yard line. But who knows? It's gonna be crazy.
So
yeah,
like
whatever our path is, it's a very narrow path to victory for Rutgers in this one.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because just looking at all the scores, like they've scored 35 or more in every game, but what, 2?
Yep.
Against Clemson and Pittsburgh, and that's probably one of the best Pittsburgh teams in recent history. And Clemson, I don't know what the hell happened there, but still 27 points.
Yeah,
Rutgers
Clemson's
hasn't
got
scored.
a ton of talent. They didn't have a great season, but they've got so much talent on that team.
Yeah, it is insane, but I don't know. Yeah, so I mean, we kind of just touched on all of it. It just doesn't seem like there's a path to victory, but let's see if the game happens first.
For sure. Let's I'm gonna look through the chat here to see if we got any questions we could answer. They said, are they still waiting for NCAA approval to play? I think it's all but a rubber stamp at this point. Like the NCAA wants this filled, ESPN wants this filled. They're gonna basically bypass any waivers they need to sign. That's not going to be an impediment in this, in my opinion.
Yeah, it just has to happen soon because you're 8 days out, 9 if you count the day of the game. You need to practice a little bit. Haven't practiced since the 25th, because 26th is probably the day before where they do that. The walkthrough?
Mm-hmm.
Walkthrough on the 26th, so they probably didn't do that. I guess they played the 27th. You can count that, so it's going to be almost a month. And do you kind of just say screw it and be like, hey, you guys, for Christmas Day, go do whatever you guys got to do. If you have family, go hang out with them. 26th, we're going to Tampa, Orlando, Jacksonville, whatever it is.
Jacksonville, yeah.
Yep. And I know there was some speculation about this game possibly being moved to accommodate Rutgers. I don't see that happening.
No.
No
shot.
Jacksonville, the Jaguars do not play that weekend. This the weekend of the 2nd. They're on the road, but they're not moving this game. This is an anchor to the ESPN's coverage that weekend for the leading up to the CFP. I can't see them moving it.
TV contracts, sponsorships, ads, they're not moving this game whatsoever. They'll just, at that point, if Rutgers wants to move it, they're just going to be like, all right, Illinois, come on.
Yeah, Illinois Army, do you want to play a second game? We changed our mind again.
They would do it, I feel like.
I think they would.
Definitely do it. That'd be fun.
Yeah,
that would be such a
Army
nightmare.
Just won. And the Army just beat Missouri too.
Yeah, so they beat Missouri. They won. I think they beat Navy in the Army-Navy game. Right. That would be such a nightmare to go from preparing for a team like Texas A&M who's got a pretty spread out offense to Army. Can you imagine? You have to basically throw out everything you prepped for the previous month and be like, okay, now we're just avoiding cut blocks for the next week. We got to talk about how we're going to just not tear our entire offensive line's ACLs or defensive line's ACLs.
Real quick, we got to do a little station identification, guys, subscribe down below the Night Report YouTube channel. If you don't know us, we cover everything from recruiting to football, wrestling, baseball. We've covered soccer a little bit, lacrosse. We've covered everything. Rutgers.rivals.com. Free 30-day promo going on right now. Sign up, and that's our station identification.
Yep. Also, subscribe and like and review the podcast. The Night Report podcast is on all major podcast platforms. This feed or this audio will go to the podcast after we're done recording as well for those who couldn't make it live. Let's look up some more questions in here.
There's questions on the board too.
Okay. Do you want to pull one up from the board?
Yeah, I could do that real quick. Where is it? Oh, there's 26 replies. All right. Let's see. When do you expect to hear confirmation? Kind of went over that. We have no fucking clue.
Yep. Any chance Evan Simon starts?
They're meeting today, so it's just a matter of when. Please thank Santa Shiano for the best Christmas gift ever. Not a question, more of a favor. I guess thank you, Santa Shiano. What players are definitely in or out? We kind of went over that. NCAA waivers. Yes, they need a waiver if they declared. That's 100% official. It does sound like most of them will come back. The one we actually didn't talk about this yet, I guess. I'm indifferent on Bo playing. I don't know if he'll play or not. There's a lot at risk for an injury for a bowl game that doesn't really count. He's going to be in the Senior Bowl in, a month? Not even. Or maybe a little over a month. I don't even know. So it is risky for a guy like him who's definitely draftable. Definitely, I guess it could help his stock to be a little bit to kind of dish it out against a 10-2 Wake Forest team, 10-3, whatever they are. It's just such a risky move for him. The other guys, I could see it. Other than that, I just don't know. I don't know if he'd play. And if you don't have him playing, is Shameen Jones wide receiver 1? And again, this could be another audition for next year.
Yeah, I think with Bo, he's got a legit shot if he does really well at the Senior Bowl to rise up to a third or fourth round pick. That's not hyperbole. He's been such a standout weapon at Rutgers. When he actually can get in space, he's the only guy on the team seemingly other than Crookshank who can make a guy miss and has the speed to beat a DB down the field. he's shown that on tape. And once they see him in a setting of like peers at the Senior Bowl, and they see, oh, this guy can go up against the guy from LSU, or this guy can go against the guy from Clemson, like he's going to shine there, in my opinion.
Yeah, with a good like quarterback, a good offensive line, and that offense in general is just going to be super talented. It's going to be impressive to see what he does. I think he'll impress just about every scout there. One thing I wish they did more with him at Rutgers, I wish they used him more on kick returns. I know you had Cruikshank, and it's a little tough to like move him at all, but when Cruikshank's out, I think Bo should have been back there a lot more. And you saw kind of examples of that on punt returns where he thrives a little bit. I think he had 1 or 2 returns in his career for touchdowns. I know 1 at least.
Yep.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I know one of them was like the trick play though. So I mean,
yeah, was that to Bo or was that Bo throwing it?
That was, I think, to Cruikshank, and then he kind of passed it back to Bo. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a big mistake on Ash's part, not using him. I think he used Avery Young back there just for basically fair catches.
And Shiano did that a little bit too.
I know.
This year at some point.
Yeah, I always thought Bo should have did like end arounds more too, or some quick passes over the middle. So.
Yeah, he's so speedy. He had the one end around towards the end of the last season, wasn't it? Where he scored a touchdown, and he was like faster than everybody.
Yeah, we don't throw anything across the middle though, so that's part of the problem. I don't know why they decide not to.
Quarterback.
And they didn't want to turn the ball over. They didn't want to throw it in the middle.
That's probably part of it. Is that throws to the sideline are almost certainly either completions or incompletions. There's hardly any interceptions along the sideline.
So just reading this like little chat here, Bo won't play. I don't know how reliable of a source this is at all, but 03 won't play. Pop will play. Pop should play.
Yep.
It would only help his draft stock, but at the same time, if he doesn't play, who the hell's the running back?
Yeah.
Is Monongai still hurt?
Yeah,
I think so.
So we got
Aaron Young and
Aaron Young.
Ray Collins was banged up. I know.
Yeah, he was banged up too. So it's like, is he healthy? I don't know.
Yeah, probably not.
Got some questions about the offensive line being healthy in here. I think the biggest question is can Brendan Bordner play? Because he's already committed to FAU. Is he already
done? FAU, right?
Did he already sign? Through the portal, you're gone. Like I think that's it. Not that he was a starter towards the end of the season anyway. He kind of got benched midway through. Hence why Holland Pierce was the mainstay at right tackle. And once O'Neal was healthy, it was left tackle for him.
Yep.
Although we have talked about it on the boards, they are recruiting a tackle via the portal. So maybe this is your chance to experiment. I don't know if you have a third tackle to experiment with.
Yeah.
And then put O'Neal on the inside, but I don't know. You can kind of have some fun with it, I guess. If you kind of know going into this game, it's not gonna be pretty. Start testing out theories for next year. Make it like a spring game almost.
I agree, and there is we'll be able to get so much slack from the national media, especially. It's like, oh, Rutgers only had 8 days to prepare for this game. They're playing a ranked Wake Forest who's got top 5 offense in the NCAA. So if we lose by 40, it's not going to hurt us. We still had a 4-hour infomercial on New Year's Eve right before the CFP. Like, this is great coverage.
Everyone got drunk. Everyone was sober for it still.
Yeah, everybody was sober. Everybody was having their cocktails in the morning. Their Bloody Marys, their mimosas or mimosas, whatever your flavor is.
Stop tweeting at me about how I'm opening this like pregame party before. It's not happening. I'm not doing an open bar for anybody.
I mentioned before, man. It's a no-lose situation for Rutgers.
Yeah.
I did see that there was a pregame tailgate that you can buy tickets for this game. It's like $50. It's like an official Gator Bowl like pregame thing. It's not from Rutgers, so I think it's like $50 or $60. It's a 4-hour open bar, food, drinks, all you can eat. I don't know what it's exactly called, but I saw it on Twitter and I looked it up on StubHub, and there's plenty of availability for that in case anyone's actually attending the game.
That's kind of interesting.
How much?
If you bought tickets already, just go. Like, it'd be fun regardless.
Yeah. Yep. How much do you think we see Gavin Wimsatt? Because I've seen a few comments about that in the thread.
I don't know, man. If Federal struggles early on and they still have a shot at this game, I don't see a reason why Wimsatt's not the first QB in. He still has that extra game for a red shirt. He's shown glimpses. It's like a high risk, high reward, or high risk, high reward situation. Like, you're risking kind of using him as a recruiting tool for that 2023 class, because if he struggles, it's like, oh, this is our prize quarterback. Like, look what he can. Oh wait, he didn't do anything. But if he looks good, it's like, hey, look at our prize quarterback. Come play with him. Like, especially when you're recruiting a bunch of 4-star receivers in Bryson Rogers, Santana Fleming. The minute Patty actually tweeted out the Gator Bowl for Rutgers, Santana Fleming was the first reply on it right away, putting like the eyes emoji and stuff. So
Really?
it's a 4-star Rivals 250 kid. Like that's
Yeah, and you got Hakeem Williams too.
Hakeem Williams paid his own way on 3 unofficial visits already. So it's like a high risk, high reward situation to play Wimsatt because he looks good. It's great. He looks bad. It's like, oh shit.
But clearly, their plan was to play him in the bowl game since they sat him out the Maryland game.
That's what it seems
Correct.
like, to be honest. So it kind of like played out strategically very well. I just don't know. I think Vedral still gets a start at the end of the day, and if he can't get anything going, it's like, all right, kid, go out there, see what you can do.
I mean, it would make sense that Vedral would start because of, the least, the no time before the game.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think, you didn't play him second half because he was banged up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess he had a month to heal up, but I don't know, man. I think you might see Wimsatt start. I think I'll go the opposite way, and I'll go maybe Wimsatt here,
Devil's advocate.
and just see what he can do, to get him ready for next season.
Yeah, it's just a risk. And if you get him hurt, God forbid, knock on wood, like it's your season next year.
We had a question about players who have signed with agents. Are they going to be allowed to play in this game? I think that's part of the NCAA waiver red tape that they're getting through right now. That they're going to allow these guys eventually to play, but that's something that they need to get through. Is that correct, guys?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Yeah, that's all I got on that. It's just a matter of a waiver from the NCAA. That's like declaring. Once you declare, you can't come back, unlike basketball. So they just need this waiver from some of these guys. And one guy, what I was thinking we aren't talking about at all? Giovanni Haskins.
Mm-hmm.
He declared, technically.
Did he? Okay.
It's just a matter of he signed with an agency. I saw that on Instagram the other day. It's he's another one like on offense. Like you have a lot of young tight ends, and he was one of your better ones last season. So it's going to be interesting to see if he comes back. Is it just kind of like, hey, you didn't use me, like I'm done, see you later, or is it like, hey, one more chance, and I can kind of help a little bit of my stock?
Yeah, for sure. So we had a bit of a news item that just dropped. So the Division I Football Oversight Committee has confirmed the selection process for bowl game participants. That happened a couple of minutes ago. So basically that means that they're going to stick with their original plan of 5 and 7 teams getting the first option, and then those 5 and 7 teams get ordered based on APR. Rutgers has the highest APR. 5 and 7 teams who are not invited to bowls. So Rutgers will have officially the first right to refusal for this game.
Okay, I mean,
There you go.
there we go. I guess Rutgers still has first dibs.
Right.
Based on that, if you look at the Illinois message board, they're pissed off. It's pretty funny. So if you're bored and you want to go do something and troll some people, there you go.
And maybe if they just didn't get their shit pushed in by us at home, they would have this bowl game.
Brett Bulimia. Man, what a character. Almost Rutgers coach at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, fun fact there.
Speaking of coaches, going back to Wake Forest, they have former Rutgers coach Dave Cohen on this team,
Defensive
and also
line.
former player Kevin Snyder,
Former
linebacker.
player and player development assistant Kevin Schneider. So he actually left Rutgers after the season. I didn't even realize it, to join Wake Forest and Dave Cohen. So how the hell Dave Cohen still has a job after the shit he did here? Yikes.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, that's like half the coaches in the college football.
Yeah, no.
It's
yeah.
bad.
Very true. I guess it's all relationships at the end of the day, and hence why Greg is going to hire someone he knows for DC. Change my mind.
Probably. Mm-hmm.
So I do want to talk a little bit about that. So Rob Smith gone as the DC. We didn't really cover this on a pod because this is the first opportunity we've had from it. What are you guys hearing regarding him leaving Rutgers? I know his contract was not renewed, and now he's going to be the DC under Elko down at Duke. What did you guys hear about that?
I mean, what a fall from grace for Elko. I mean, I didn't think that was going to happen. I really thought he was at least getting Elijah Robinson to follow him and be DC. But it sounds like Elijah's still up for that A&M job that's technically open, but it sounds like he might be going Fisher might be going co-DCs down there between Robinson and I forget who the linebackers coach is, what his name is. Either way, he's going to get a hell of a pay bump down there. So it doesn't sound like Elijah will be a true candidate in this process. I've talked to people that are close to Chris Partridge recently. It doesn't sound like he's really all that interested. It sounds like his next stepping stone will probably be a head coaching job. Probably, if I had to guess, G5 level maybe. Other than that, who are the other names? Bob Frazier, like I said, it's kind of an audition this week or next week, whatever, if he does. If they do end up getting the game, I think he'll probably be interim DC. I think he probably already has that title. I just don't think it's out there yet, if I had to guess. I know people mentioned Panagos. I don't see that one happening. Coach White from Syracuse. Intriguing name, intriguing background. But again, if you look at Greg Schiano's staff, it's all New Jersey ties or Rutgers ties or even ties to him at some point. So I just don't see that one. I could really, if my personal opinion, what they should do, bump up Frazier. He's proven he can do the job. He knows Schiano well, better than anyone probably. Followed him at Ohio State. Followed him at shout out, good looks, TJ. What do you call it? Where's I at? Damn it, TJ.
Bob Frazier.
Bob Frazier.
Yeah.
Give him the job. He's already linebackers coach, so you kind of fill two roles or kill two birds with one stone, and then just hire some kind of crazy recruiting shark.
That's where the real interesting wrinkle can come in here. If we could hire another really high-end recruiter on the staff, that would be fantastic.
And I hate to break news on this, but I guess I should probably a little bit. It sounds like there might be another assistant that is leaving, quote unquote. If you want to, not renewed, leaving, whatever you want to say.
What level of shitstorm is it going to cause on the board from a 1 to which is Rob Smith leaving to a 10, which is Greg Schiano leaving for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
Oof. I don't know. That's a tough one. I mean, Rob Smith, I had people text me. They're like, I can't believe Duke stole Rob Smith. I'm like, stop it, please. Like, that's not
Dude,
true.
we packed the bags. We hired the moving company.
Yeah,
the U-Hauls were
literally,
revving in the
U-Haul was
parking lot.
there at November 28th.
Yep.
It was ready to go. And then all of a sudden, everyone's like, yeah, Duke stole him. Elko's good, man. I'm like, stop it. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, no.
Jeez.
Yep.
But, yeah, that was interesting. I don't think there's going to be really much of a storm on the boards. I know they're going to go speculate and see who's going to leave and all that. I can't say much more than that at this time, but as soon as I get enough info, like I'll be able to post it, but it's just something people should know.
Stirring the pot there.
Gotcha.
Stirring the pot a little bit.
Some tasty nugs dropped on this live pod here, guys. Anybody who's tuning in live has a little bit of early information.
Subscribe button down below Chris somewhere. Left, right, I don't know. Figure it out.
Also, subscribe to the Night Report, and you'll get more nuggets.
See, this guy's good.
It's true.
This guy is good.
Be feeding from the trough like a one of those horse
If you want
bags.
another nugget, I kind of know where the team's going to practice if they get the bowl. Like,
yeah, let's drop that.
There's apparently, quote-unquote, unnamed Twitter eggs that have been DMing me. A source down in Jacksonville. We'll go with that. Very close to, I guess, very connected to Jacksonville Jaguars. Told me that Wake Forest will be practicing at Fernandina Beach High School, home of Rutgers target and Penn State signee Cameron Miller. They produce quite a bit of talent, so it's good looks for Wake Forest. I give them credit. That was a pretty good move. Rutgers will be practicing at where is it? Ponte Verde High School, and will be staying at a hotel affiliated with TPC Sawgrass if they get the bid.
Nice.
Ponte Verde High School. Fun fact. Notable alumni. Kyle Federico.
Oh,
True.
True.
Interesting.
So I
knew that sounded familiar.
Yeah.
That's the only other name. I was looking it up before. There's like an Army quarterback, a Navy quarterback. So, I mean, if you want a quarterback that's basically Johnny Langan 2.0, go to Ponte Verde High School. They clearly produce running quarterbacks. They probably run some, I'm just guessing at this point, some scheme that kind of looks like the wing tee, I would assume. Shout out Art Sikowski, ran it in high school. I don't know how. Yeah, that's all I got. But TPC Sawgrass Hotel, that's kind of cool. Like,
that's pretty cool.
You're really convincing me to try to like spend that money at TPC and try to figure out if I can get around.
Speaking of golf courses, when I was in California, I went to Pebble Beach.
Did you?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's actually a public golf course, so you can
That's
you can
pretty
go
sick.
look at it and everything. So I mean, I didn't play, but
Oh, come on, Chris. What are you doing?
nah. I
just
had no
looked at it.
time, but it was cool. So I
Yeah.
took some pictures. So
I don't mean to brag, but shot a 99 the other day. That's pretty bad, but
Oh,
it's
damn.
not good. But it's not bad.
Outside the Century Club.
Yeah, that's all that matters. God. What else we got in here? There's a bunch of other questions. I haven't read most of them. Play Moses Walker. If they could, they probably would.
Yeah, it's part of there's a technicality there. You actually have to be enrolled in the university to play for the football team, and Moses Walker is not enrolled in the university yet. So good try, but
if I mean technically, hear me out. Pull a Gavin Wimsatt and roll early, and then just you're missing 5 linebackers, 4 linebackers already. Just he'd probably be better than most of them. Hate to say that, but
yeah. Somebody asked, is
Simon.
Texas able to sneak in there? No. The rules for the NCAA, they confirmed these rules this morning. Any 5-7 team who want to play in a bowl, they are ordered based on APR. Rutgers has the highest APR of all 5-7 teams who are not currently in a bowl. So Rutgers has the first choice, and Illinois has the second choice. Just to clarify.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. The more and more I look at it, let's see if we got a ton more questions actually on here. Will Rutgers Al post an upset alert? Always. If he's not posting an upset alert, then I'm gonna be I'll be upset.
there you go.
Yep.
I love reading other teams' boards because like the first thing they always say, and they're like, "Who's this guy posting an upset alert?" Like the Ohio State board just loves him.
That's
Oh
funny.
my god.
Hell, Alex had him on one of his live streams before, and I'm like, "Oh."
Did he really?
Yeah, I'm
Nice.
like, "What are you doing?" Like the week of Ohio State.
That's
Oh my
funny.
god.
I didn't know that part. That's funny.
Yeah, that was funny. Let's see what else we got.
Somebody posted, do we think Sean Gleason has been a disappointment, or he just hasn't had the personnel?
I mean, Chris, you can start before I start yelling.
Sure. I mean, I don't think he's been a disappointment. I think some of the play calls, yes, have been questionable at the very least. But the offense doesn't have, the horses to run, everything that, that they wanted to. I think some of the quote unquote trick plays were kind of dialed back this year. That I'm not really sure about or why. I guess, last year was just a whole different thing regarding the 2020 season. But I know. I mean, they got a good recruiting class coming in. I mean, they don't have the offensive line to be able to hold up. They threw to the sideline more. They wanted to kind of hold on to the ball and not turn the ball over. They want possession. But yeah, I think once you get the athletes out there on offense, I think you'll see a better offense. And yeah, I mean that's why you kind of hope for the future and hope Gavin Wimsatt can help that along, I guess.
Yeah, you kind of hit on everything. I don't have to yell.
You got to wonder, given how much creativity there was in the offense last year, with all the trick plays, with all the interesting concepts that they ran. This year, they definitely dialed that back. You got to wonder how much influence Shiano had on that, where him just saying like, don't have Noah lose us games. Like, we can play these close. We just can't do anything risky. I think that's kind of what they did. They didn't have the personnel, obviously, but they weren't willing to take risks this year.
Yeah,
clearly,
and it goes back in practice. They preach balls of program like nonstop, so that goes back to keeping the ball safe and not giving it away. So, yeah, I guess it goes hand in hand on defense too when they try and take it away. But yeah, the offense was very conservative, and again, they didn't have the horses. They didn't have really good offensive lines opening lanes, or Noah Vedral was always getting hit hard and leaving the game. So. I think once you get, I mean, that's why you saw 7 offensive linemen in this class, and they're still recruiting. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, the offense I think should improve as the years go along and the better players come in. But yeah, last season, yeah, 2020 they were more creative, but compared to 2021. But yeah, I mean, once you get the personnel in there, I think you'll see better results.
You also had an offense, like you said, the offensive line. You had Raekwon O'Neal, who missed games with injury. You had arguably your best offensive lineman, Reggie Sutton, get injured after 3 games. You started a converted defensive tackle, another converted defensive tackle, a preferred walk-on at right tackle, and a 2-star center. It's like, I mean, although I do think Zawinskis, I'll kind of double back on that one. Zawinskis is playing already better than his 2-star status, but. Yeah, a lot of struggles there. I think offensive line is the biggest reason. Add in the fact that the run game couldn't get anything going. It seemed like they were running 10 yards per play from sideline to sideline instead of up the middle, or not up the middle, just like I can't even think vertically. More horizontal runs. It was kind of weird considering Pacheco is clearly not an outside runner. Other than that, I mean, there's just a lot of issues with the offense, and it takes a lot of time. We've seen some really, really bad Rutgers offenses this past decade. So I mean, let's be grateful that it's a little bit better and it's getting there. It's going to take time. Like you said, they recruited 7 offensive linemen for a reason. That doesn't happen. And put it like this: not just 7 offensive linemen. You're also still pursuing transfer offensive linemen.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing that is kind of like give Gleason time. Look what he's done in his past. So he was at Oklahoma State 1 year. He's coming from Princeton, where he's known as this guru who's running all these interesting.
Good talk, Mike.
Blah blah blah. He gets there. He assesses his personnel. He's got Chuba Hubbard as his running back. So what does he do? He makes it a run-heavy offense. Chuba Hubbard leads the NCAA in rushing that year. He put 2 quarterbacks into the NFL from Princeton. This is a guy who knows what he's doing. He's severely undermatched in the personnel department. He's probably told that he has to dial it back. I think this guy just deserves the benefit of the doubt, given what they all walked into. I think we're going to see a lot. If he does stick around, probably by year 4 of Schiano's tenure, where you have Wimsatt as a sophomore at that point, I think we're going to see a really, really high-powered offense. We just need to give him time.
Can we also talk about how 4-star quarterback to Princeton over Alabama? 4-star quarterback to Oklahoma State. A 4-star quarterback, highest rated quarterback in Rutgers football history, just committed and signed and enrolled early.
Yeah.
And remember the teams that they're going up against too. It's not like they're not playing Delaware every week, for example. They're playing Ohio State, Michigan State. So really, really tough schedule. It's hard to. I think it's smart to keep that in perspective as well.
These comments are wild.
I know. I'm reading them too.
As much as I like Ray Lucas as a person, there is 0 shot in hell he's even considered to replace Gleason. They have money now. They're going to spend big. They're going to get someone with ties to Rutgers at a university or Schiano, et cetera, et cetera. They're going to get another big name that's going to get paid over $1 million to come run the offense. Maybe John McNulty. Sorry.
What about Urban Meyer?
Stop. He's the defensive coordinator.
Oh, that's right. He's the we've already penciled him in as the
DC.
You're right.
Yeah. Urban Meyer's background, it clearly says defense, and that's why it went viral a little bit on Twitter. God, I love this site. There's a couple other questions on the threads. For those of us who are attending the game, the pregame prep rally, tailgate activities, most important part of this is the partying. I agree with that aspect, but we have 0 idea how you're going to organize all that stuff too. Does that even happen at this point? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point. Usually the university has a lot of lead up time to this kind of stuff, and I wonder if they just take all the plans that Texas A&M had and just hand them off to Rutgers and put new tents over that kind of stuff.
Do you think the t-shirts still say A&M on them when you buy them at the game?
Oh yeah, those things are printed. I mean,
you think they still sell them? I should say.
Oh, I haven't checked the bowl website.
That'd be interesting. I could see a bunch of Rutgers fans rocking Gator Bowl T-shirts with A&M on it, and next year that'd be pretty funny actually.
Yep.
They do get a kind of a cool little gift package that I was looking at. The JBL
good point. Yeah,
noise
what? I meant to look that up. Yeah. Yeah,
JBL noise canceling headphones, a Bluetooth speaker inside a customized box, Maui Jim sunglasses with a fitting. I don't know if Maui Jim sunglasses are good or not, to be honest. A Fossil watch, that's a pretty good watch, and a backpack. Not bad.
No PS5 though.
Oh, that's more of the what's the Sony one sponsored by, or what's the Sony Bowl?
Good question.
I wonder if they'll give out a PS5, or it's too hard to get still.
I remember I used to get really into looking at the bowl gift packages back in the day, cool. when they were super anal about there's a $500 limit, and some people would just get one item, whereas others would have 6 or 7 tchotchke things. Yeah. I remember I'd always be oh, they get a PS3 or they get a PS4, and these ones are just getting watches and swag. Oh man, that would suck.
Oh, they have the 5 best right now. the PlayStation
You know,
Fiesta Bowl.
I'm reading that now too.
Yeah, the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. They will be getting a PS5 console and the game.
Let's
Nice.
go.
Damn, good for them.
Nice.
Dude, you could flip that for like it's $500 limit, whatever. You could
Mhm.
flip that for like $1,000.
Yeah. Especially Christmas right here.
Yeah, like
Yep.
some of these gifts are awesome. What the
Yeah.
hell? You get a $490 gift card by University, a MasterCard gift card, an ice shaker, a mini helmet, a team panoramic photo for the Valero Alamo Bowl. They actually ranked the Gator Bowl number 4 best gift. No shit.
Really?
Yeah. Good for them. Well, all right, Rutgers is going to maybe get something pretty nice.
Checking to see if there's any more
Any
things
other
that occurred on
questions?
Twitter here while we're talking.
Do you have actual proof? Oh, someone's claiming on Twitter Rutgers turned it down and Illinois took it, which is BS. I'm pretty sure. I don't trust a guy that follows 2,000 and has 200 followers.
Oh. Here's an interesting wrinkle. Do you guys know who Chris Eisman is? He's a Rutgers football writer for Asbury Park Press.
Never met him.
Said he was reading through the press release from the NCAA, like affirming their policy about 5 and 7 teams.
Mhm.
Said the NCAA also said that any bowl can be pushed back as late as January 10th to accommodate teams that might need time to prepare.
Yeah, see,
Okay.
Nicole Auerbach just tweeted that too.
Yeah.
When
If
is
that
just saw
happens, if we have the bowl pushed back, that becomes a lot more palatable for, I think, everybody who is criticizing us taking the bowl in the first place.
Now it makes a lot more sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Push it back. We're gonna figure out flight plans, or we'll drive.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
If that game is pushed back, though, like Wake's already got their travel plans already booked. Rutgers fans don't.
Yeah, you
So
know what?
We might
Actually,
have.
My mother-in-law bought her hotel last night. So
Oh,
Oh, yeah, I didn't
no.
even think about that.
yeah.
That would be absolutely brutal. I hope that if anybody did book anything, that Jacksonville hotels are willing to be flexible, because that would suck.
I
to see
saw-
that.
I
Time
saw
out.
something I saw like a Texas A&M fan post on post somewhere. I forget what it was, but that like Ticketmaster wouldn't like refund her because technically the game's not canceled. So like obviously she's not gonna go, but
So wait, they said January 10th out of just pure
that's
curiosity.
the latest. Yeah.
That's a
Yep.
Monday. Ew.
I've got 40 days built up that I'm just waiting to burn, guys. So.
There you go. I was just away. It's a lot tougher for me.
I'm trying to look.
But Chris, this is you're paid to cover the team. This isn't
sure.
really this is part of the job here.
Yeah. You know what? I actually looked for flights on Thursday Thursday and then leave on Sunday. They were like $400, $500.
Yeah, they're expensive.
Yeah.
I was looking at them yesterday too, and there was the cheapest round trip ticket I could get out of Philly was like 5 something.
300 $300 flight and hotel. January 9th to January 11th.
Let's go.
Oh, that's I'm like tempted to like book it.
Somebody asked, sorry if you already covered this, would Rutgers get a full bowl payout? It would be the most they've gotten, right? I'd
it's-
imagine whatever the payout is structured by the Big Ten, they're going to get.
Yeah.
So
I think the way that
I
they
think
do it is they split it all
like
evenly.
split it. Yeah, they split
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, there's a way they split it, and then there's I forget what it is. They only get like I think 25% of the payout too from the losing stuff, or because I don't think they'll win, but that differentiates the money too a little bit, I think. And I think someone did the math on the board, and it said like 1.5. Now I don't know if that goes to the program or if it goes to university. And I guess it's probably going to cover expenses, I would assume, at first. That's like first.
Right.
And then after that, I don't know really where it goes.
Some clown from Deacon Sports is, according to Rutgers message board, #sources, the team voted not to participate in the Gator Bowl. We'll see if this is true. I think that is absolutely not true. I don't think Shiano would have even entertained the idea of a bowl or letting this get to the point it has if the team was not 100% down for it. But that's just my
Yeah,
read
I
on
mean,
it.
someone just tweeted Shameen Jones too. I saw, and they're like, "Hey, are you in shape?" And it's like, "All right, stupid question, number one." But number two, he's like, "I haven't stopped working out" or something like that. So I mean, these guys like seem like there's a fair amount on Twitter that want to play.
Yeah, I know I wrote about it in my article that I posted this morning, but after the Maryland game, his post-game press conference, Shiano said the guys are going to practice and work out, through finals and stuff. So I mean, I know they're not, they haven't been like, probably full on, football practices, but I think they're still in shape. So I mean, it's not like it's like cold turkey or anything.
Here's another thing that I thought of last night on that Twitter space that I was talking about. Like there was plenty of teams last year who literally just had to stop mid-season and not play for a month because of COVID outbreaks. Like this isn't totally unprecedented. I don't think there was a huge spike in injuries after that happened, but this has happened recently where teams just really haven't done football activities for 3-4 weeks and then jump right back into it.
So going back to the pushback, Jaguars play home January 9th.
Yep.
So would they have a game the 10th? Probably not. Maybe.
Probably not. They did say as late as the 9th.
Yeah. So, but you're not gonna have it the 8th either.
Yep. So it'd probably be
a
like
midweek game. I don't know. That's a weird thing. Is Chris Nash getting fired again? Yeah, dude. Come on. Well, it's Jacksonville related, sort of.
Yeah.
I don't think they're keeping that staff at all. I highly doubt it. I'll go if Chris won't. All right, Chris, you're out. Morosi's in. What is this? This is the tweet you're talking about, Deacon Sports.
Yeah, I don't think there's any credit. I don't know what board they're talking about.
It doesn't follow many people. The fucking Deacon Sports.
It just says according to the Rutgers message board. Like, come on.
Oh, I wonder if that's our message board. Probably is.
Probably. We got some characters.
Oh, jeez, that's funny. Illinois wants in apparently, like really, really bad. Which I'm not shocked, but name one. Name one.
Yeah, I mean they want in, but I mean that was the reason the Division I subcommittee met again today, was to figure out, are we going to stick by the rules we've outlined, or are we going to do something hokey? And they decided to stick with the rules. So I don't think Illinois really has a leg to stand on here.
Would they play in the middle of the week? Would it even like draw a lot of people? Or is that just such a turnoff that they wouldn't play?
I don't see. Are you talking about for like the team? Would they do it?
Like the bowl game in general. I know the team would probably not care whenever they play. It's just more would the bowl itself just be like, hey, screw it, January 5th, Wednesday, 12 p.m. That's it.
So I imagine, and this is just me saying I imagine that if the game is not played, then the advertisers who have bought airtime are not obligated to pay. So I imagine the bowl will lose so much money because they have to pay to they have to pay to rent the stadium for the game. They have to pay the staff who helped organize everything. Mm-hmm. So they're not getting paid unless the game happens. So I'd imagine if it's played in February, they'll still want to play it.
So I'm looking now. January 1st has 5 games. That's probably out. January 2nd, technically, my mom's gonna hate me because it's her birthday, but like, sorry. That's a possibility. January 2nd, January 3rd, Sunday, Monday. Would they play on a Sunday? Probably not with football, I would assume, with NFL. The 3rd, I guess, is probably an option. The 4th is LSU, Kansas State. That's probably out. Is it what's it on? Is it on ESPN? I don't even look, to be honest.
It is on ESPN, yeah.
So you probably have to make it work based on that. It is a noon game. Or no, 11 a.m. actually.
11 a.m.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This is it is cool because it is the lead up game, and I think it'd probably outdraw numbers wise on TV at least the Washington State Miami game, because Miami doesn't really have a staff. They're kind of, I guess, is Cristobal coaching in it? Like, is that a thing?
That's a good question. I'd imagine not. Usually they don't do that.
Right.
Usually they'll have whoever sticks around coach.
So someone asked, the current bowl schedule for the 31st, when it's played, it's 11 a.m. 11 a.m. Wake Forest, noon Washington State Miami, 2 o'clock Boise State Central Michigan, but that's streamed by Barstool, so I don't know if that really affects TV at all. 3:30 Cincinnati Alabama, 7:30 Michigan Georgia.
Yep, those are the football playoff. Yeah.
And then the next one's not till January 10th. So January 10th is probably out of the question, just because do you want to lead up to the national championship?
Yeah, that's true.
It's honestly, it's not the worst decision in the world TV time wise.
Mm.
Because ESPN already has national championship. It's kind of like, all right, let's play this game at noon on the 10th.
Mm-hmm.
Let's kind of like do this whole lead up. Like maybe the game's pretty competitive. Maybe we'll draw more viewers because it's kind of like people are gonna pregame the national championship. It's like, oh yeah, hey, that's what's on right now. Let's watch the college football preview show. Like no one gives a shit. Let's go watch an actual football game at noon or 1 p.m. Maybe have it end at 3. Then you can watch your little preview show or go get your pizza or get your wings or whatever. That's actually it's not a bad move if you could pull it off if you're the Gator Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
That would be interesting, actually. The more and more I think about it. January 1st is 5 bowl games. It's out. January 2nd, nothing. January 3rd, nothing. January 4th, some shitty game. Texas Bowl is a January bowl now.
Yes.
I don't know.
Whatever.
I actually haven't watched much college football since the end, or after the championship games. Let's just say
bowl season. Action.
I know.
Action.
Amtrak 250 from Penn Station to Jacksonville. I didn't even know that was a thing. That'd be kind of fun.
I didn't either.
That'd be different.
Can you imagine being on a train for, I don't know how long it would take. Imagine at least like 10 hours.
10-hour train ride? Hey, I mean, if there's a bar cart, you're up 6 hours, you're asleep 4 hours.
I can look it up.
Yeah, can make it work. Let's see. What is the current bowl schedule? We did that. Any questions, guys? Just submit them in the chat. We'll try to answer everything possible. It's obviously a lot going on. We don't know a ton, just based on the NCAA not coming to a decision yet, but they're announcing like random rules.
Here's another interesting wrinkle. The CFP National Championship is on January 10th, so I can't imagine there's a game.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Do a little lead up. There we go. We might be onto something more than the what do you call it? Than the people in charge of ESPN or whatever.
That would be a pretty interesting. I mean, they have like pregame shows on basically all day for that game, though.
I saw someone compare it to. They said the Italian Stallion versus what was it? It was something hilarious. Where is it? I gotta find this. This is a great tweet before I saw this morning. All right, you gotta keep talking. Like I gotta find this.
I'm reading for any.
We could be Mike
questions in here.
Just go.
There we go. Back up to this. The Italian Stallion.
Also, I'll real quick. I looked up the train ride. The train ride is like it's like 17 hours.
17 hours?
It's like longer than a car ride. Which doesn't make sense to me. But I mean, I don't know if I'm looking it up right.
I wonder if it's because they make.
I need to know if they make
stops like constantly. It is round trip from what it said. But like, do you stop like every 2 hours? Like, do you stop in Philly and stop in DC and stop in? I don't even know.
Think so. Brown bag it for 10 hours. Yeah. I'm not brown bagging it for 10 hours. There has to be a bar cart on there. Let's be honest.
Never taken a dump on a train either, but I can't imagine that's pleasant.
On an Amtrak, nonetheless.
Yeah, that thing's borderline porta potty level in terms of cleanliness.
It's not the worst idea in the world. It's just not. At that point, like if the flight's only an extra $20, don't be cheap. Just do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a tough one. I don't know. This is interesting. Like we really don't know what the hell's gonna happen. You think the oversight committee probably would have just came out and straight up said they approved Rutgers to fill the bowl, but they didn't. So now it's like I guess it's the ball's in Rutgers' court now. It seems like.
Yeah, like we kind of alluded to, we don't know all the extenuating circumstances involved with Rutgers participating in this bowl. It sounds like we wanted to play in it. The rules committee has upheld that Rutgers will be the first choice if they want it and they're able to do it. Now, able to do it, what does that mean? Does it mean that, they can have a roster that, has, 50 healthy people on it and a staff the same? Is it that they have to get all these waivers for people who are signing with agents or guys who, have graduated and might not want to play or do want to play? Like there's so many things up in the air for this. And there's probably variables we're not even thinking about here too, as well.
I mean, we don't even know who's like on campus. Like we said before, do you fly these guys straight to Florida? Do you fly them to campus first and then go as a team? Like, I don't know what you do. Do you kind of like for guys like Mayan Hanatu and Joshua Youngblood who are tweeting from Florida? It's just like, do you guys just like stay there? I would assume,
Right.
probably. Just hey, we'll book you like a. I don't know how far it is. Where are they at? I know one's in Tampa. I don't know where Mayan's from, but I would assume.
Well, Mayan went to school in Tampa. Or
Yeah, he went to
around that
Berkeley,
area.
so I would assume he's from Tampa too. I don't really know. This is like it's an interesting. There's a lot of interesting like questions still to be answered. We really don't know.
Yep.
Yeah, we're running out of stuff to talk about.
I'm scanning through this article now. Apparently, Bielema is trying to force his way into the Gator Bowl with a trick up his sleeve. I assume that's just Chad Khan being an Illinois grad, but I haven't gotten to that point yet.
I mean, it would have
it was about
had
Shad
nothing
Khan.
like it would have had nothing to do with the Jaguars or
No, but it's his stadium, so it's
correct.
more like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm not letting him play unless it's Illinois.
Right.
Like,
I mean, it has
there's no shot. I don't think at least that'd be wild.
I don't think he has any control over it, and I also think he would probably be facing a pretty substantial lawsuit if he tried to say the game can't be played. It's like you signed an agreement, and these were the rules that you knew about. We're affirming those rules today, and your team being Illinois, they're not in line to play. If Rutgers turns it down, then they have an opportunity. But
Yeah. We should insist on inviting signatures, decision making for by the game or joint authorized board of directors. I can't read some of these. It's just like they have to go through a huge process through board of directors for the bowl game, and board of directors at Rutgers have to sign off, and yada yada yada. I don't know. Seems like there's a lot of like red tape that still has to be. They still have to go through. I don't really know what's gonna happen, to be honest. I was
somebody asked on the board about.
But now I don't know.
Somebody on the board asked about a postponement being possible. If they're asking if it's a possibility, it sounds like it is a possibility. Like we kind of said, we don't really know. I'd imagine it'd be for ESPN less than ideal to push it back. Like I think they really like to slot the Gator Bowls in. That's usually where it is. It fits their content schedule. So
up until January 10th for those who didn't hear.
Yeah, and I know we touched on it a bit, and I don't want to go too deep into it because it's going to start arguments between people. But I'm assuming they all have to get tested before they go, right? If they test positive,
probably.
are they just out, like out of the game? Probably, if I had to guess.
I don't know if there's like a solidified protocol for all this. Like the NFL has a very clear: if you test positive, then this is the set of circumstance. If you're vaccinated, you have to do this, this, and this.
Yeah.
If you're unvaccinated, this, and this. I don't think the NCAA necessarily has something like that. Like I think conferences release guidelines, right? Like Big Ten has something for its vaccination policy and its COVID policy. But the NCAA is a weak ass leader. They don't know what the hell they're doing, and they didn't really release a full guideline. They basically were like, yeah, we take it seriously, but it's up to like it's basically like a quote unquote like states' rights issue with like conferences and stuff to decide how they want to govern it.
So someone brought up a good point in the chat. I don't know if you saw that. If the game was to be pushed back a week, why can't A&M just stay? That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah, I don't think that they want to push it back.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like we said, it's possible, but I do think it's just going to stay the same, and they don't want to go renegotiate all these ad deals and sponsorship deals and all that nonsense.
I think that the bowl would probably be more likely just to go down the list. It's like, well, we're not willing to negotiate on the date, so if you can't do it, sorry. And then they'll move to Illinois, and then they'll move to whoever's next, and then I think they're going to work like hell to get somebody to fill this 11 a.m. New Year's Eve slot. And if you can't make it, that's when the party is. Sorry.
Yeah. I know we talked about it off stream. Did we talk about it on the stream yet? About how Shiano's connection to the Wake Forest AD and yada, yada, yada?
We didn't. No, I brought that up. Yeah.
Yeah, you want to educate the people, Chris?
Well, I just saw that the Wake Forest AD now was the AD at Tennessee when they won Shiano, and then that whole I don't want to call it fiasco went down. So, I mean, maybe they pull for Rutgers there at some point, but kind of opposite like the Jaguars owner. So, who knows?
It's a good storyline. I mean, like he literally agreed in principle to the deal, and then all of a sudden. The fan base revolted, kind of like what happened at Rutgers also, but opposite because they pushed for, Shiano.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. It just adds to the storylines. You have connections between the two programs more than I actually thought, between the coaching staff, between the ADs, the administration. It is kind of wild. I don't know. Do we know like Rutgers like all-time record versus like Wake Forest? Any good? See, now we're talking.
I'm blanking. What's the website? I'm blanking.
I'm on it right now. Wins.
Okay.
0-2 versus Wake Forest.
0-2?
Yeah.
Okay.
1997, Terry Shea lost to Wake Forest, 28-14. Head coach of Wake Forest at the time, Jim Caldwell.
Nice.
Oh, interesting.
Interesting little name there.
Yeah, it looks like they had a home and home at some point.
That was 97. 99, they lost 17-10. Same head coaches. Yeah, both games at Wake. No, the first game was at Rutgers. The second game was at Wake Forest. They haven't played since 99, which is interesting. Be a cool little matchup. I don't know. I'm running out of- You guys have any questions at all whatsoever before we close this down?
Yep.
Rutgers basketball. I haven't seen a game. It feels like in like a month.
I know. Yeah.
It's been so long.
Yeah, they beat Purdue. I was driving when Rutgers was playing Purdue, so I was just getting updates on my phone. I was driving from in California down the Pacific Coast Highway, so that was a trip. So yeah, I know they beat Purdue, really good win, obviously, and then Ryan Harper Jr. made that shot, and then they lost to Seton Hall and haven't played since, I think, right? So
yeah, that wasn't a pretty game. You would think by now they would probably have like rotations and stuff like that figured out, right? I know guys like obviously like missed time because of COVID, but like they're still practicing for the most part. It seems like, because Corey Sanders was there the other day. But if you notice the pictures that they took, not a lot of scholarship players in them. Maybe like I saw Gio, I saw a couple others, but maybe 4, 5 tops scholarship guys. It was definitely interesting to see that. And then I guess Seton Hall had COVID too, right? The more I look at it.
Yeah, they canceled a game first before
canceled
Rutgers
and
did.
forfeited twice.
And yeah, so I mean, they probably got it from them. You know?
So just end of the day, you gotta complain about basketball, blame Seton Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it kind of sucks because we did see Caleb McConnell's kind of resurgence a little bit. That 13-10 game or 13-12, whatever it was, had a hell of a game. He's kind of starting to look like a Swiss Army knife type player. I know it's like the common name for it, but he kind of does a little bit of everything. A lot of other guys have to step up big time though. We'll see.
Oh yeah.
See what happens. It looks like Gio was finally going to be healthy. He was healthy. I mean, he played a little bit. Highlights are playing in the background. He didn't have an awful game. He didn't have a great game, but whatever.
Somebody said to give Rutgers wrestling a shout out. They're undefeated. They had that big win against Army. They've kind of just beaten the hell out of every opponent they've faced this year. I know that the Midlands Championship is supposed to be next week. That actually got canceled today, but the tournament is still being held as a different event. It's called like the Matt Open or something like that.
Yeah.
It sounds like instead of it being the Midlands, it's going to be the Midlands just at a different venue, but in the same time.
It's cool. And Rutgers, it's like Rutgers, Pitt, like a couple big name teams I was looking at before. Like I've already said yes to it, so it's gonna be actually. It looks like it's basically the Midlands. It's just not being sponsored by the Midlands. It's kind of cool though. I hope they end up making this work, and hope people are allowed to attend and stuff like that too. I know Cal Poly just announced that they're gonna wrestle. Rutgers is in there. I'm trying to look right now. Which coach is this? Penn Wrestling is going to be there. Wisconsin's going to be there. Wow, they actually have like legitimate setup too. Wow, that's a weird setup actually. I don't know if the fans are actually going to be there. It's just
this tournament's always just so important to get prepared for the Big Ten conference schedule though, because you're going to be facing like high-end competition at every weight, whereas some of the guys on the team have faced a ranked opponent this year, but a lot of them haven't. So
good point.
It's a good wake-up call, kind of like, all right, like this is it. Like play some big name guys one-on-one and see what happens. But that's going to be interesting. I'm kind of glad that they're still making something work. Yeah, other than that, let's see. I know it's canceled in the tournament. Yeah, we just talked about that.
Something we didn't talk about yet was Rutgers had a pretty cool viral moment, at least related to one this past week. You guys want to talk about that?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was wild. All for hot chocolate too. The entire student class got hot chocolate because of that. That was pretty neat.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, Kathleen Fitzpatrick, former Rutgers women's basketball player, made a recess, gym class, full court shot, and
a swish too. Nothing but net.
Yeah, it was right. Yeah, and it was pretty cool because like when the ball was like up in the air, everyone, it got like dead silent. The kids were just watching, and all of a sudden like, yeah. So
yeah, they went crazy.
It was really cool to see. To be honest, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, someone else asked about the 15 practice limit that the NCAA policy adheres to if you make a bowl. That's not happening clearly, unless they push it back even. I don't know. 15's a lot. That's scheduling 15 practices, and can you do 2-a-days? That's what I was thinking.
I don't think that 2 days are allowed anymore.
I don't think
under
so,
like
they
NCAA rules.
They didn't do it in training camp anymore.
I know.
So.
Yeah, I know you're not like allowed to during the season, but it's more like can you like kind of? That'd be kind of cool. It'd be funny to see too. Yeah, I guess you start wrapping it up. I guess right. That's pretty much it. That's all I can think about.
Yeah. There's one more note here about the women's soccer players, national teams and tryouts. Yeah, I did see a couple Korean players getting invites to like the under 20 teams, something like that. I forget exactly.
Yeah, it was Emily Mason and Riley Tiernan are on the under 20 team.
Yeah. And then it was pretty cool seeing Casey Murphy play also at goalie. So a lot of really good talent for Rutgers women's soccer, obviously. So.
Yeah, hell of a run, and see if they can try to do it again next year.
Sure. Yeah, they made the. Oh, so I when we flew to San Francisco, it's like an hour away from Santa Clara where the women's soccer Final Four was, College Cup. So we got off the plane and whatnot in San Francisco. The first person I see walking in the airport was wearing a Rutgers hoodie.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm sure they were going the opposite way and flying home at that point, but yeah, it was kind of cool. It was kind of funny.
So I'm looking at this. I'm just going through Twitter trying to find something. Hot take here. Big game boomer. Rutgers has the number 28th ranked defensive line in the country.
According to some guy who just makes these lists arbitrarily.
Correct.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I don't know how we ranked that one. But
Sir, have you watched Rutgers play? Do you know how many sacks we had this year?
I think they had like 6 sacks, something like that, or like
I tend to think sacks are a little bit overrated. That's fine. Let's look
True.
at QB pressure.
That's fine. But when like Rutgers was last, and there was like a 20 sack difference or so for first place. So
yeah, that's and the QB pressures tell enough of the story. It's just they're not there.
Yeah. So Rich, I agree overall that an individual's sack numbers are not indicative of how good of a pass rusher they are, but a team's sack totals usually even out, because usually if you're providing the pressure, the quarterback has to step up or go in a different direction, and more times than not he'll get somebody else a sack. This is
a rough list, man. He makes some shitty ones, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for the publicity there, but our leading sack player was 03 actually. He had 3.5, and then Teray had 3, and
I
Aaron
think
Lewis
he had 3.5 in games 1 and 2.
Yeah, and Fadukasi missed the last 3 games or so.
I forgot about that too. Is he even healthy enough to play?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Damn, I forgot all about that. You're right. Good point.
Yep.
And if he's
and then like I'm sure. I mean, I don't know if they did it yet, but I'm sure guys had like minor surgeries to clean up stuff too.
Yeah,
who knows?
It's true.
I don't know. Like we talked about a lot earlier, I don't know who's going to be able to play. So
it's such a big question mark. And like, I guess the ball. It seems like everyone kind of agrees on Twitter too, and social media and the boards. The ball's in Rutgers' court at this point. It's a matter of, I guess you meet as a team, you look at or actually as a staff at first, kind of look at who's healthy, look who would do what, kind of figure out who the DC is, because I guess you don't have to announce an interim technically unless you're going to play the game. So that's something to be aware of too.
Or you could do what the Giants did and just say it's going to be collective effort.
Come on. I know you're a Giants fan too. You don't have to make these dicks. Like, we know they're bad.
So they're terrible.
Hear me out. before the season, everyone was talking about Sean Gleason as OC for the Giants. Is it possible
think
if
that's
Joe Judge is still there?
Right.
Not the
I don't see
craziest
that
thing in the
happening.
world. I don't know. It's definitely interesting. But yeah, I think if the ball's in Rutgers court, you figure out who's healthy, who could play, kind of build a depth chart based off that, look down at the paper and be like, oh shit, never mind. Or you say, all right, you know what? Hey, we got our team. If we can get these approvals or these waivers or whatever from the NCAA, you know what? Fuck it. Let's see what we can do. Like I said, you don't have to go into this game expecting to win. You just go, you be competitive, show you're competitive against one of the best ACC teams this year. You probably make some noise going into next season, and it helps recruiting-wise too.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure. If we show life in this game, we show competency, we'll have plenty of time to get guys who are dinged up healthy. Like you said, I think a lot of guys do the week after the season do clean up stuff, whether it be their joint, their shoulders, their knees, their ankles. Like that stuff happens. It's like maintenance, and you can't play for a month or 2 or 3 after that. So
as of 22 minutes ago, CBS Sports is saying Rutgers is taking the spot. I don't know where that tweet came from. I'm looking at the kid's Twitter now. He didn't source it. It says CBS Sports, obviously, but I know nothing's official at all right now. So obviously, I think if there's going to be official, they're going to put out a press release almost immediately.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't see anything online about it. I know a lot of fans are talking about how it's very good for Rutgers to take it. It sounds like last night they were ready to take it. Now they're just looking at everything, I guess. Just looking at the roster, looking at the depth chart, looking at who the hell is going to coach what at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know. This is unprecedented times.
Sure. I mean, yeah, something like this really is, you know.
It is unique, and it just the whole process of this is wild. How everything just unfolds within a 24-hour period, and it's like they're playing, they're not playing, they're playing, they got the ball. No, they don't.
Right.
No, yeah, they do. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you saw how much changed in like 3 hours. So
that 3 hour span, going into this, I was pretty confident. I was like, oh, this is gonna be a nice little preview for the bowl game, and now I'm like, oh shit, they might not have a bowl game. I don't know. This is wild, and I know Shiano's pretty strict with social media and stuff like that, and guys posting, and no one's posting a single thing. I'm pretty good at monitoring this stuff too.
Yes, you are.
So if you're listening to this on the podcast feed, you might already have news confirming or not confirming that we're going to be playing the Gator Bowl. So apologize in advance if this is old news at this point. We're just kind of working with what we have at 1:22 p.m. Eastern time on the 23rd of December here. It doesn't look like we have many more questions in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you guys have other stuff to do today. I have other stuff to do today. So
yeah, I gotta go to the mall. I told you this sucks. This is probably the worst day to go to the mall. Second worst day. Tomorrow's probably the worst, but
yeah, tomorrow's probably the worst. Yeah.
Hold on. I got a guy sending me screenshots that's saying everyone is saying we're not in the bowl. We'll see where these screenshots go. And mind you, we've had about 4 different random Twitter eggs just fucking DM us, and this guy's telling me where they're staying. This guy's telling me they're canceled. This guy's telling me the bowl's on. They voted yes. This guy's telling me that. This is fun. One of these guys is just going to be right, just guessing alone. And I think that's what you kind of saw last night with that random Dallas Star reporter who went from the Boston Globe to the Dallas Star and retired, and now he's breaking news about Rutgers athletics, and Illinois wants in, but they're not in, and it's like, I don't know, dude. Wake Forest message board. I'm not even gonna look at that. That's what he sent me. A Wake Forest message board post saying reliable sources say Rutgers has backed out and it will go to who the hell's the other team? Illinois. Again, if you want a good laugh, Illinois message board. Fun place to be right now.
So I'm gonna bring up a quick point. If we're talking about the game being pushed back to let's say January 10th or whatever, would that mean that Texas A&M could still play?
Oh yeah, that's what you were saying before. I don't know necessarily.
Okay. Right.
Because if that's the case, you think they would have just moved it back right away and just said, all right, we can
True.
move it.
True.
We don't care anymore.
True.
Now I don't know anymore.
Yeah. Now it's more iffy.
I'm like constantly searching Twitter for like anything Rutgers related, and there's just dead right now. Like it's pretty wild.
We know what's going to happen. 5 minutes after we end this pod, there's going to be
news. Either it
the
happened,
Tax Slayer Gator Bowl official Twitter account posting a screenshot of their like bowl logo with Rutgers helmet on it.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't get the bowl bid, is this just like the worst "Are you screw" of all time? I'd argue.
It would certainly.
I would say no, just because they had a shot to go bowling, themselves. But you know what I mean?
People are saying the team voted no. Like, I can't see the team voting
no. I don't think so.
Like these guys have been at Rutgers, some of them 6 or 7 years now, never playing in a bowl game.
Yeah, never sniffing one.
Their goal the last 2 seasons has basically primarily been let's make a bowl game. They have this opportunity now, like especially guys who don't have NFL aspirations or realistic NFL aspirations. Like these guys are playing. Like I guarantee they want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
It's the biggest game in Rutgers history, and since 26?
Since I think would be the better, probably since 2020 or 2012, the Louisville game, Louisville Rutgers for the opportunity to play in the Orange Bowl.
That is true. That's probably it.
The game where we couldn't beat Teddy Bridgewater with a broken wrist and a high ankle sprain.
Is that when Coleman got hit on that really long touchdown, like to start the game? Long play.
Sounds right.
I don't remember that part.
I remember.
I just remembered Bridgewater having like one leg, and then the backup, I think his name was Will Stein. All he did was come in and run the ball, and Rutgers didn't figure that out. So
yeah, no, I remember that because I remember people in the parking lot had like there was all kinds of crazy setups. There was like the Orange Bowl trophy, like a fake one with oranges on top, and then and I walked past, like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. And someone's like, yeah, look at this Sugar Bowl, and just put sugar in it. And I'm like, dude, what the hell is going on here?
That was the Sugar Bowl. You're right, because Louisville played Florida that year and actually beat them.
Is that the good Florida team?
That was a pretty good Florida team,
but like one of the good ones.
I want to say that was like Tebow's last year. No, it wasn't Tebow's last year. I'm thinking
like a Riley Cooper.
Yeah.
Team maybe.
So Rutgers was actually beating Louisville in that game 14-3 at halftime.
Yes.
Wow. Jeff Driscoll.
Yeah, I just remember Gary Nova throwing up a pick in the last few seconds.
Mike Galissi. Remember him? 1,100 yards. Wow, that's a hell of a year for him. Jordan Reed, Trey Burton. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting team. Sharif Floyd, Josh Evans, Matt Elam. Wow. Sharif Floyd. Yeah, we're getting a little off topic here. I think we have nothing else to talk about at this point. Who else has their finger an inch away from the computer ready to confirm a hotel on 3 different dates? 3? Dude, you need like 6 different dates.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
At this point, like it's getting nuts. Let's see. I'm looking. There's literally nothing. I'm like waiting for something to happen. Like trying not to end this right now. If you guys haven't already, subscribe down below. We do plenty of videos, press conferences. The TKR pod is on here quite a bit, opening videos. We also have it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I don't know where else you can go for podcasts, because if you're not going to one of those,
basically anywhere podcasts are available.
Yeah, we're on everything, but come on, like, let's be honest. Apple, like, Spotify. Is there another one that's really good? Like, so TKR pod, Night Report pod. I don't know what it's labeled under. Mike, you might know.
It's the Night Report podcast.
There you go. We're pretty good, I think. Okay, maybe average. I don't know anymore, to be honest. Go give us 5 stars anyway. What else?
That really helps get us, more publicity, and we plan on having more guests next year. We had some pretty awesome guests this past year. We had Gio Richigno, we had Dom Natale, we had Big Ev from Barstool, we had Alex Gleitman come on, we had the guys from the front office come on. Like, we've got some pretty awesome, timely guests when we can get them. So subscribe and follow along. I don't think we'll have as high frequency of pods going into the off season. Probably when news is worthy of having a podcast, we'll have a podcast. But Yeah.
Who's the lineman that transferred to Wake Forest from Rutgers?
Justin Heron.
We're gonna have to find out his info.
He's in the NFL.
Did he transfer or did he decommit?
I think he. Oh.
Because he is actually like a starter on the Patriots.
Yes, he starts in the NFL. Yeah.
Oh, he's that good. All right. Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very good.
I actually pointed him out. I pointed him out to my wife watching the game the other day. I heard his name get mentioned.
Because there's not another Bryant Gross Armiento. Rutgers to Wake Forest transfer.
Okay.
He played pretty good at Rutgers in his year, half a year.
But the one I was thinking of was Heron.
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking of guys that like. I mean, we could try to get Heron. I just don't think that's conceivable now that he plays
Nah,
in the
probably
NFL,
not.
But
Yeah.
we could try that. I know. I've already talked to the Connor O'Neill who runs the Wake Forest Rival site. He's very open to joining our pod next week.
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
See what happens there. I don't really know. I don't really know anyone else that would that we can get that kind of relates to both schools. Any
Kevin
transfer
Snyder.
portal predictions? Let's see,
I don't
transfer
know.
portal predictions. It sounds like Willie Tyler's probably going to go to SMU. He was going to release the top school list. It sounds like he's going to just commit at this point. Rhett Lashley, former SMU OC, Texas native, I believe. I don't know. Maybe Florida. I forget. He was the Miami OC last year. He's probably going to get Willie Tyler. Who else? Who else is on the...
I mean, I think we've made 6 offers so far. Miles Frazier committed to LSU. Willie Tyler's uncommitted. Troy Reeder, the linebacker, committed to Iowa State.
Tremont Shorts is his name?
Yeah, Tremont Shorts, the
He's
Eastern
probably
Tennessee State guy, is not going to go to Rutgers.
No, he's got a lot of options there.
We haven't offered a receiver yet, which I think is shocking. But
He
we
did
are
show interest in
following.
that Western Kentucky guy, but he hasn't. He hasn't really like said much, or he's being very quiet again. What was his name again?
His name
Do
is
we know offhand?
Marshall something.
I forget. I don't know if it was Marshall.
I think it's Mitchell.
Mitchell. That's what it was.
Mitchell Tinsley is his name from
Mitchell
Western
Tinsley.
Kentucky. We started following 2 new receivers last night, or the last 2 days. Isaiah Nair from Wyoming and Jacob Cowing from UTEP. Both are like fantastic receivers. Like Cowing is the 6th ranked receiver on PFF out of like 850 qualifiers. Like he's got like a 90.3 score. He's literally been in the portal for a day and he's already got like 15 Power 5 offers.
Sounds about right. So I hate to be the bearer of bad news there. It doesn't sound too optimistic.
Yeah, so Nair had like 12 of Wyoming's 15 receiving touchdowns this year. He led them in receptions and receiving touchdowns as like a freshman. So he's not coming here probably. Unfortunately, Rutgers has to settle. Rutgers is going to have to target guys they have a really good relationship with already.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know people have mentioned like Matt Jones from Ohio State. Like that's the kind of guy that they're going to have to get. They have like a baked in relationship where like you have guys who not only helped recruit a guy to a school, but also you have a really good relationship with other people in their lives, like their high school coach or their family. Like Rutgers is not going to go and get a guy who like this guy Cowing. He went to high school in Arizona. He plays at UTEP. Like Rutgers has no connection there. Like what does Rutgers have to sell to this kid? He probably doesn't even know where Rutgers is.
There's
Like,
so many kids I ask like about Rutgers. I'm like, oh, what do you know about the school? And he's like, it's in the Northeast. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna,
That's funny.
Just scratch that one. We're not gonna talk about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It is in the Northeast. That's a positive first step.
Let's just move on. That kid's not coming here. Do you guys want to talk about why it's hard for Rutgers to convince players to transfer in? End of the day, like there's still a narrative out there, regardless of a 5-win turnaround and 3 wins in the Big Ten last year. There's still a narrative out there that Rutgers struggles to produce, and I get it. Greg Schiano's proved it a little bit his first time around, and it's helping a little bit with recruiting. But at the end of the day, they still haven't really produced much of anything. They didn't technically. They're going to slide into a bowl maybe this year. If you would have had a bowl game this year, it would have helped a ton. Transfer portal in general, guys are always trying to transfer up. We'll get FIU. We've talked about this on the pod multiple times. FIU's starting, what was it, Frazier, left tackle, left guard?
Tackle. I think it was a tackle.
And
Yeah.
if he
He's a
played
tackle.
tackle for him, he went from FIU to LSU.
Right.
There are
Yeah.
other guys getting Power 5 offers. Their wide receivers, I think, just committed to Arizona State.
Mm-hmm.
They have another Eastern Tennessee State has 2 offensive linemen that have joined the portal, or one was a linebacker, one was a lineman. I forget what it was exactly.
Yep.
That are both landing multiple Power 5 offers. It's just like, it's incredible. And on top of it, Rutgers only has limited scholarships. There is a reason they only took 18 kids in this high school class. It's not like you can just go pick and choose and be like, and then the portal hasn't really helped Rutgers either, if you want to be honest. You find My J's a decent get, but he was kind of up and down. I guess he was dinged in training camp, so that's a little hard to build back from. But then on top of that, you have guys like Patrice Renee, who was probably the second worst corner on the team this year. Who else? Christian Broswell got hurt. David Nagugu was your third string offensive lineman on interior, second string, I guess. I can't even say second string because they moved Crimin over instead of putting him out there. They put Iron Brown over him. They put Troy Rainey over him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like the portal has been too kind to Rutgers between.
Yeah, last year was a little better when you guys, you had Michael Dwumfor, even Noah Vedral.
Cruikshank.
Cruikshank was obviously a huge one. That's probably the best transfer, I guess you could say right now, at least on offense.
It's just so tough. Like you got to build a more attractiveness to Rutgers, and it's going to take time. We knew this from day one. The rebuild is not going to be a 1-year thing, and also let's not act like the transfer portal's all that. Yeah, Michigan State kind of built that narrative that it's the greatest thing ever. Like, we got, 20 kids. Like, this, you had Shiano coming in here after Chris Ash and Kyle Flood. You had Mel Tucker going in there after Mark D'Antoni. D'Antonio? I forget.
Yeah.
I forget.
D'Antoni.
It always confuses me with the goddamn Nets coach, Suns coach, whatever he is now. I don't even know. But regardless, that, it's not like they didn't have talent.
Right.
You recruit a guy like Kenneth Walker, and it's like, all right, hey, look, we're going to get 10 wins easy. Or 9 wins, whatever the hell it was. And then you just have to have a competent quarterback and, a guy like Peyton Thornton. And it's like, all right, here we go. This is kind of, easy. And make Mel Tucker look good, get some consideration for bigger jobs. Then you have Shiano who comes in, and it's like, here's 3 offensive line classes, and not one of them's, really even sniffed the 2 deep. Have fun. Good luck.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah, and there's a generation
winning
of kids.
cures everything. Winning cures everything. Well, it's hard. It's hard to be attractive when you don't win in the first place.
Yeah, there's a generation of kids. If you think of a 19 or 20-year-old who is transferring right now, the last time Rutgers had a winning season, this kid was in 5th grade. These guys have only known Rutgers to be a laughingstock. Rutgers is on its 7th or 8th straight losing season. And it's not even we're just, finishing 5-7 and, barely missing a bowl. We're getting blown out by 50 points multiple times a year. And we're playing against really tough competition, and guys want to go somewhere where they can play, they can make the NFL, and they can win. We can only offer one of those things right now, because even if you look at a Michigan State, they're still putting guys in the NFL. They're still putting first rounders out there. They had, even if a guy like Darqueze Dennard didn't work out, he was still a first round pick. Jack Conklin was a first round pick. They went to a Rose Bowl. They went to this college football playoff. That was all within the last 5-6 years. They have had a history of success there that they can easily point to. And they say, yeah, we had a COVID year last year. We weren't even expecting to play. And then within 2 weeks we had to play, a whole season of Big Ten football. Everybody could have said that.
That's what makes this recruiting class so much more impressive. You just landed the number 1 kid in New Jersey, the number 3 kid in New Jersey, the number, where am I looking? 11 kid in New Jersey, number 14. The list keeps going on. You landed the number 1 New York kid, the number 1 Kentucky kid. You landed 7 4-stars if you count Wimsat. 7. And it would have been a top 25 class. The fact that Greg Schiano could pull a top 25 class into Rutgers after all the bad narratives about them, and it's just to be able to sell the program in general and sell his vision, it's kind of almost incredible.
Agreed.
I don't know. I could keep ranting all day about this. This is fun. It's it is hard. The portal's not the answer. I'll tell you right now. It's just not a good thing. Maybe for an experienced linebacker just to help out some of the young bucks that are there between Tyreen Powell, who I think is going to be phenomenal. Kyrie Banton, another kid who's going to be really good. Moses Walker is coming in, and I expect him to play year 1. It's just adding a veteran presence there. Cornerback, you're probably pretty good. Safety, you have plenty of safeties. I actually think that Avery Young and Izzy are going to get pushed for playing time behind with Igbenogson right behind him. Maybe Elijah Clark moves back to safety too and kind of pushes there too. I think that's the future duo back there in Igbenogson and Clark, and I think they're going to be phenomenal. What else are they recruiting? Offensive line, I guess it's kind of just a shuffle at this point. We know O'Neal's kind of the mainstay there. We know Pierce isn't going anywhere. So Winsky seems like the future starter at center for the next 3 years. Because I think he played 1 in 4 games. Not sure actually.
No, I think you know what?
It
was either 3 or 5. I don't remember.
Yeah. So you have 3 solidified starters on the O line. So all you really need is left tackle or right guard at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Figure that out, and then if you get a good left tackle to protect Wimsat, like
right,
it'd be a decent year. But then again, the schedule gets a lot tougher.
Well,
you're playing a very good Nebraska team. You're playing a very good Boston College team, on top of already playing the Big Ten East schedule, which is downright just not like fun to watch at all.
Mm-hmm.
There was another Big Ten West team. Don't they play Iowa?
Minnesota. Yeah, they definitely play Iowa. Yeah, it's the schedule gets a lot tougher compared to this year.
I don't know what that question is. I have no idea. Can't be he's under the volcano. Damn, I hate to be under a volcano. Let's see. Sorry if this answered already, but any clarity in today's decision? Blah 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 blah. No takes. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, I guess that's really it. I know it's gonna fucking happen. We're ending this, and it's just gonna be boom news. We're gonna be like, fuck, start it up again. Like, then we're on like a 3-hour rant at some point.
Yeah. So if something does break, I'll record an addendum, just saying what happened. But
there you go. That works.
I think everybody at this point
is gonna be a long audio file to download.
Yeah, this is just. We're up in the air with you guys right now. We know just about as much as you guys do. So stay tuned to the board, stay tuned to Twitter, stay tuned to your podcast feed. This will be coming up. If you missed it, obviously you're not hearing this right now, but as of 1:40 Eastern, no news as to whether Rutgers is formally accepting or has been formally invited to the Gator Bowl, but it seems like they are first in line if they can get through the hurdles that are out there, which are unknown. So there's a lot of unknowns right now. That's what we're saying.
$97 round trip, LaGuardia to Jacksonville. Hear me out.
What day?
The day before. What is it? The 30th? I can't even think.
Oh, that's not bad. That's really
not bad.
Good.
It's was it American Airlines, that logo? I think it's American Airlines.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the little triangle. I don't know.
Cool. All right. Happy holidays,
Chris,
everybody. Merry
closing
Christmas.
thoughts? You got anything?
Nope. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Oh, there you go. See, Merry Christmas. There you go.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Whatever you celebrate, enjoy it.
Happy New Year, maybe. I don't know.
True.
Maybe
Happy
it's sad New Year. Yeah. I don't
True.
know.
I mean, I think that's relevant. Rutgers possibly playing on New Year's Eve. So there you go.
It's true.
I mean, all right. I'm gonna go watch the Gasparilla Bowl.
Ooh. We'll do it again sometime, but like and subscribe to the podcast, sign up for thenighreport.com. They are having a special right now, like Richie had said. So if you're not already signed up, shame on you. Go do it now. Get it for your friends for the Christmas or whatever holidays you celebrate. See you later.